Ready to dive into some cameras?
Always.
Today, we're looking at Leica, specifically the M240 and the M11.
Ah, the classics.
Here's the thing. The M240 came out in 2012,
Right?
and you can find a used one for about $3,500.
Okay.
But used M11, well, that's going to cost you double.
Yeah, that's a big jump.
So why would anyone pick the older camera?
That's what we're here to find out.
Exactly. What makes Leica so special in the first place?
And then, is the M240 enough?
Yeah.
Or do you really need the bells and whistles of the M11?
To help us figure this out, we've got a few things.
Lay it on me.
First, there's this Reddit thread. Photographers are going on and on about their Leicas.
Love those.
And we've got some articles by, Leica guru Thorsten Overgaard.
Oh, excellent.
Let's start with that Reddit thread.
Okay.
What are people saying about why they love Leicas so much?
Well, first off, the build quality. People keep saying these cameras are built to last a lifetime.
Really?
Yeah, like they're heirlooms or something.
And that makes sense, given the price tag.
For sure.
What else?
And they love that they're compact, easy to carry around.
It makes sense for travel photographers.
Oh, absolutely. Or street photography, if you want to be discreet.
Okay, so they're built like tanks and easy to take with you.
Pretty much.
But what about using it? What's different about shooting with a Leica?
That's where it gets really interesting. A lot of people say that Leicas make you slow down.
Slow down.
Yeah, like you have to really connect with what you're photographing. It's more deliberate, more mindful, not just point and shoot.
Makes sense.
And there's this one comment, someone said their photography professor noticed a difference in their work.
No way.
Yeah, and the professor didn't even know they were using a Leica.
That's wild. So the camera is like pushing you to be better.
You could say that. You have to think more about composition, the lighting, really capturing the moment.
So we've got craftsmanship, portability, and a more intentional shooting experience.
Sounds about right.
Let's get into specifics now. M240 came out in 2012. M11 is the new kid on the block.
Right.
The M240 was a big deal, First M camera with the CMOS sensor and live view.
Oh, yeah, and that caused quite a stir. Some Leica purists were not happy about that live view.
Really? Why not?
They felt like it took away from the whole rangefinder experience.
Hold on. What is rangefinder focusing exactly? I know it's a Leica thing, but can you explain it?
Sure. So with a rangefinder, you're using a separate optical system to help you focus.
Separate from the lens.
Exactly. You're looking through a viewfinder and you see two images. And when you adjust the focus, those images overlap.
I see.
And when they line up perfectly, you're in focus.
Oh, interesting. So you're not seeing exactly what the lens sees.
No, with a rangefinder, your viewfinder actually shows a bit more than what the lens captures. It can be weird at first,
Yeah?
but it lets you see what's about to enter the frame, More dynamic.
Okay, makes sense. And rangefinders are supposed to be really accurate.
Yeah, they're known for being fast and precise.
So back to the M240. Live view was a big change.
It was. And some people thought Leica was moving away from their roots.
But for others, it was probably a good thing.
Right. Especially people used to SLRs or other cameras with live preview.
It probably made it easier to use in low light, too.
Absolutely. And for those tricky angles.
And the M240 itself is still pretty straightforward to use, right?
Oh, yeah. Even with live view. Simple menus, intuitive controls.
Good for people who just want to take pictures.
Exactly. No messing around with a bunch of settings.
And even though it's over a decade old, the image quality is still up there, right?
It really is. That 24-megapixel sensor produces really fantastic images. Sharp enough for most people, definitely.
Thorsten Overgaard, in his M11 review, said getting caught up in resolution is missing the point.
Oh, yeah. He's all about the feeling, the essence of a photo.
It's not just about technical perfection.
Exactly. And I think that's what's so cool about Leica. It's not about cramming in every feature.
It's not the art.
The tools help you connect with the art of photography. And the M240 really embodies that.
Okay, the M240 sounds pretty amazing. But before we get ahead of ourselves, we got to talk about the M11.
Right, the flagship.
The new hotness. And it's got like a 60-megapixel sensor.
That's a lot of megapixels.
A beast. It's a technological marvel, for sure. And it's got that variable resolution, 60, 36, or 18 megapixels. Lots of choices.
Yeah.
And all the modern stuff, dual memory, USB-C charging, it's connected, the whole 9 yards.
60 megapixels, though. I mean, do you really need that many? Going back to Overgaard's point.
That's the question, isn't it?
It is.
Do you need all that? Or is the simplicity of the M240 more your style? It's a tough choice. Yeah. But let's get back to the M240 for a second. We talked about live view, but it's still got that classic rangefinder focusing.
And the Leica fans seem to love that. What's so special about it, aside from, lining up two images to focus?
I think it's the connection you get with your subject. With rangefinder focusing, you have to be more in the moment, more aware of your surroundings.
Yeah, exactly. You're not just looking through the lens, it's more engaging.
Huh.
And you end up thinking more about your composition, anticipating the action.
Sounds like rangefinder focusing is almost like a different way of seeing.
You could say that. It's its own experience.
And you know what we haven't talked about yet?
That's that.
The lenses. Both the M240 and the M11 have access to that amazing Leica lens lineup.
Oh, can't forget about those.
Legendary Leica lenses. I've heard photographers rave about them forever. What makes them so special?
Well, they're known for being incredibly sharp, like ridiculously sharp.
Okay.
And they have this, it's hard to describe, a certain character to the images. You know when you see a photo taken with a Leica lens? And since Leica has been making these lenses for ages, you've got a ton of choices. Vintage lenses, modern ones, you name it.
So it's like you're not just getting a camera, you're tapping into this photographic history.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Using lenses that some of the greats used. It's pretty cool.
Like holding a piece of history? That's a good way to put it.
So both cameras have that going for them. But going back to the price, the M240 is a lot more attainable.
It is.
Especially if you want to try out those lenses. You could get an M240 and a couple of great lenses for the price of an M11 body alone.
You could. Which brings us back to the big question. M11 or M240?
Yeah, what's it going to be?
M11 is cutting edge, all the latest tech.
But the M240 is that classic Leica experience, and a whole lot cheaper.
Right. It's like choosing between, I don't know, a fancy new hotel and a charming bed and breakfast.
Yeah, I get it. It comes down to what you want as a photographer.
What are your priorities?
Like maybe you need the latest tech, you love exploring new features, pushing the limits.
Then the M11 might be for you.
But maybe you want something simpler.
Something that gets out of your way, lets you focus on the basics.
Yeah.
Light, composition, the moment.
And you love the craftsmanship, the history of Leica.
Yeah.
You like that hands-on feel of the rangefinder.
If that's you, the M240 might be your soulmate. Tough decision. I mean, we've covered a lot here.
We have the Leica philosophy, how it feels to use these cameras, the tech specs, the price.
In the end, you got to figure out what kind of photographer you are.
What kind of images do you want to make?
And yeah, how much can you spend?
The M240 is a steal, really. Amazing image quality, those fantastic lenses, and you save a ton of money.
So if you're on a budget and you want that classic Leica experience, the M240 is a great way to start.
And like Overgaard said, it's about believing in your vision, not getting caught up in the gear.
Yeah, it's easy to get obsessed with having the latest and greatest.
The camera's a tool, your vision, your creativity, that's where the magic is.
So true.
So don't stress about the gear. Find what inspires you to go out and shoot, what helps you express your vision.
It could be the M240, the M11, or something else entirely.
It doesn't matter as long as it feels right to you.
So if you're feeling lost, remember what drew you to Leica in the first place. What got you excited?
Think about the photos you want to take, the stories you want to tell.
And then choose the camera that speaks to you. The one that feels right.
That's a great way to put it.
As we wrap up this Leica deep dive, one final thought. Which camera, speaks to your photographic soul?
That's the question, isn't it?
The M11.
Oh, shiny and new.
Or the M240. Back to basics. But hey, at least now you've got some info to help you decide.
I think we covered it all, didn't we?
We did.
Leica's whole philosophy, how these cameras actually feel to use.
The nitty-gritty specs, the price difference, all that.
And both cameras, take amazing pictures.
Oh, for sure.
And you can use all those incredible Leica lenses with either one.
Exactly.
It all comes down to what you need as a photographer.
Yep.
If you got to have the latest tech, all the newest features.
Go for the M11, no question.
But if you're more about, slowing down.
Yeah, taking your time.
Simplicity.
Craftsmanship.
Really connecting with Leica's history.
Then the M240 might be the one for you.
It really is a tough choice.
It is. But whatever you choose, the important thing is to, actually use it.
Get out there and shoot.
Don't let it sit on a shelf.
Experiment. Try new things. Have fun.
Let the camera be like an extension of how you see the world.
Capture your unique vision.
That's what photography is all about, isn't it?
It is. Seeing things in new ways, finding beauty in the ordinary, sharing those moments.
And that's what we hope you take away from this deep dive.
Go make some magic with your camera, whatever camera that might be.
All right, that's it for today.
Thanks for listening.
Happy shooting, everyone.